Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the greatest football podcast on earth, Real Francamente. My name is Franca. I'm your host. I'm so excited to be here with you. Please make sure to follow Real Francamente on Instagram, Anticonquista on Instagram. Follow both of us, Dr. Franca, Ph.D. on YouTube, Anticonquista on YouTube. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave ratings, reviews, comments, all of those things if you love us. I hope you love this episode today. And without further ado, here it is. Bias Your Football Content. Hello. So we have a little bit of a crossover moment for 1 second in the beginning here because this is really Mate con Franca content. But the elections in Uruguay were yesterday. The Frente Amplio won. Look, I will go way more into depth on this at a different time, but I will just say this for today, okay? Uruguay does know how to vote against fascism, and it's not through liberalism, okay? It's with an actual leftist coalition called the Frente Amplio. Look it up. It's communists, okay? It's everyone. It's a coalition, but like literal communists. Like that's how you get shit done, okay? Actually, the president that's on his way out is Fash, but he's literally a liberal, like a proud liberal. So Uruguay literally said, oh, 5 years of liberalism, no thank you, never again, bring me the real left back. Okay, so maybe the US could take a note or two on how to actually defeat the fascists that are trying to take away all of our human and civil rights. You're welcome. Frente Amplio, like, hello, okay? Like, y'all just don't know. Y'all don't know. Like, take a page from someone else's book for 1 second. Stop being US-centric assholes. Send this to your racist granddaddy, okay? Whoever it is that you're sitting at the Thanksgiving table with that is a Trump supporter, like, or that's a liberal that literally is like in denial about what has happened and like they're like boo-hooing and like whatever. Like, there's a way to beat fascism, and it's not with fucking liberalism. It's with a true left. Anyway, hey, y'all, look at this kit. Look at this kit. It's brand new, hot off the presses, fresh off the plane from Uruguay. Look at that. Look at that logo. It's got little, look, I hate a collared kit. We know this, but I make an exception if the kit's real sexy. Uruguay has a massive issue with kits, with kit acquisition. They're just not available. And so my parents who just went, they actually went to vote in the first round. Last night was the second round, the runoff. They brought me back not only this gorgeous kit, look, it's like black, it's sleek. I love the classic Peñarol kit. I'll wear it, no problem, but it's a little loud, right? Like this one's a little more like, this one you could wear out to dinner. And also look at my little candies. Peñarol candies in Uruguay. Everything's Peñarol. Also, speaking of Peñarol, this is the connection with the Frente Amplio when we obviously watched a lot of footage of the election post-win, especially like people were going nuts. Like some of the best memes. Look, the left knows how to meme and the right does not. Okay, like the memes are memeing. Like it's such a good time. And all we saw in the celebrations were Peñarol en Boca kits because Peñarol en Boca es pueblo. Peñarol y Boca es la gente. That's why there's more Frente Amplistas that are Peñarol y Boca fans. Facts, not feelings, okay? Like, it's just facts. Like, you gotta just, it is what it is. Shout to our Dios, Maradona. Today's his anniversary of death. It's been 4 years. It's been 4 years. I could cry. Who said Peñarol es Boca, right? Peñarol es Boca. And, like, God's words. Okay, that's mi Dios. So y'all can just deal with it for those of you that are Nacional or River fans. It sucks to be you. Like it really sucks to be Fash. You know what I mean? Like maybe you should come over to the good side. Look at that shield. This kid is nice. I'm obsessed with it. Yeah, today is the anniversary of Maradona's death. I feel like it's one of those things like, look, celebrity deaths don't really affect me. I don't stand any single celebrity. But there's a few exceptions. Well, like Maradona is Dios, you know. Today's also the anniversary of death of our Comandante Fidel Castro, which is not a coincidence that they died on the same day. I don't know what I was saying. Oh, I stand no one, with very few exceptions. And Maradona obviously is above all criticism in terms of how amazing he is. And today's the day of his, and so his death affected me more than any other celebrity death probably ever has. I felt like he was a person, like a member of the family, you know. He's I remember that day like it was yesterday. I wrote something. I think it's on my website if you want to go check it out. I wrote something that day about it. Like it was like surreal. It felt surreal. And today, like there's a lot of like homenajes and like different his teams that he played for are all like posting. La Liga posted. Obviously, Napoli did a whole thing. It just feels surreal. He's gone way too soon. And I love when the homenaje pics feature him with like Fidel, him with, Chavez. Like he was a real one, man. He was a real one. And especially in these times that are so hard to stay alive in. The world is ending. I mean, Uruguay nos dio una alegría today, right? Or yesterday, right? But it's hard. It's hard to live in these times. And so you get your little glimmers of hope and reminders of resistance and the importance of resistance wherever you can. And one of those places is remembering what an amazing figure Maradona was. So shouts to that today. What else? I want to talk about speaking of like Maradona, this is how my ADHD brain works, like, right? Maradona, anti-fascist, anti-US in every way. And I'm reminded that I must talk about the fucking fascist Captain America, Pulisic. Y'all, I've been saying for years that motherfucker is a fascist. Literally, all it takes is one look. Also, he's from Pennsylvania. Like, that's all it really takes, okay? To know that he's a fascist. And people are like, no, the whatever defenders or call him, they still like call him like, their captain and whatever. Like, first of all, any US stan at this point, like, you're embarrassing yourself. You're standing for the US men's national team or the women's national team for that matter. You're telling on yourself. It's embarrassing. You should be embarrassed, okay, to stand for that team. But so many people would be like, no, what's the, like, what's the evidence? Like, he's just a player. He doesn't know any better. Bitch, he's literally like a card-carrying member of the NRA. He has the motherfucking eagle tattooed on him. Like, we all knew he was fucking fascist. Literally so early on. So then they had that game that they played for that little copeja against Jamaica, who obviously we were all rooting for Jamaica, right? Anytime the US plays, you root for the other team. I don't care who it is. Well, except maybe if it was Israel, then redacted on what I would hope would happen. But so they're playing this game. Obviously, we're all rooting for Jamaica. And then the motherfucker scores and celebrates by doing the Trump dance, which, like, look, it's just it for anyone to be shocked that happened, like, embarrassing for you, okay? Because, like, it's obvious the man has been a Trump supporter. The man has been a fascist since his existence, okay? And then people are being like, oh, he's just being silly. Oh, it's just a dance. Oh, it's just this. Oh, it's just this. Like, okay, y'all can, if you want to defend a fascist, like, please just be upfront about it. You want to defend a fascist? Don't act like you care about social justice in any other motherfucking way. First of all, social justice under capitalism is not possible. It's incompatible. Right? And those motherfuckers are capitalists. All of them are. Even the ones who are people of color on the men's national team are still fascists, okay? Because fascism goes beyond color, beyond nationality, and this is why we don't do identity politics, okay? We do intersectionality in this house, because that explains the difference. When people are like, oh, I don't know why so many Latinos voted for Trump, you don't? because I do, because this country attracts fascists from all over the world and fascism's global. So of course it makes sense. Also misogyny, all of those things. Anyway, that's not what this episode's about. But I just had to make sure that we talked about this motherfucker because there's nothing funny about it. People are like, oh, he's trying to be funny. I don't think he's trying to be funny. I think he's paying homage to his daddy. Okay. But even if he were trying to be funny, it's not fucking funny. It's not fucking funny. And then all his little teammates joining him in, like, y'all should be embarrassed. Like, you're the laughing stock of the world. You should be embarrassed that that's who your little hero is on the US men's national team. Like, it's disgusting. I feel bad for you. And that's why the US will never win shit. The US will never win shit when it counts because y'all are fucking fascists. And I'll say it again, and I've said it 17 million times before. Rich people are not good at sports. They're also not good at art, but that's a whole other discussion, okay? Rich people are not good at sports. So, of course, these rich boys are never going to amount to anything because you're playing against talent from all over the world that is obviously comes from knowing the value of needing to play well. Of course, they'll win a game here and there. Obviously, they beat Jamaica, but they'll never win anything where it counts. And don't talk to me about the Gold Cup because that shit is not real. It was invented to sell jerseys. Okay, so don't talk to me about that. Anyway, any chance we get to bash the US, we will take it on this podcast. Don't act brand new. Don't act brand new. I've been here. I've been doing this since day one. Okay. All things aside, we're coming up on the 2-year anniversary of this podcast existing. So shouts to us. We've been doing the damn thing. We've been through so much together. I love us. I love us so much. This is gonna be a super short episode because life is lifing, stuff is happening, and we're doing what we can. But I didn't want to hop on here to just at least show y'all my kit, watch on YouTube if you aren't, and get some of these things out. So let's take a short break and we'll be right back. And we're back. What's been going on? Actually, I don't remember if the last time Francamente came out. Well, we talked obviously about that was the Clásico episode. We got some hate on that. We got some hate on some of those clips, and I didn't expect it. It's weird. It's weird the things that do numbers that just out of nowhere. It's so weird. That whole thing is crazy. But I don't know if we talked about Peñarol obviously not making it to the final of Libertadores, which is fuck Brazil. Oh, speaking of which, Racing. Listen, we love Racing outside of Boca Juniors. Obviously, if it can't be Boca Juniors, like, and definitely don't let it be River. And Racing won the Sudamericana, and I think that is. I just love to see Brazil teams lose. I'd love to see. I'm Brazil's newest hater. Thank you. Welcome. Um, I actually just mean Brazil clubs, obviously. And I just love to see them lose. And so I will not be participating in any sort of discourse around the Libertadores final because it doesn't exist to me. So, but Racing won that, and that was cool. That was cool to see. Like, there's a lot of famous Racing fans. I want to say, was Nestor Kirchner a Racing fan? Franchella is a Racing fan, and he's like a fash. Mirta Legrand, who knew she was still alive? She's like 1,000 years old. Racing fan, she posted. So lots of Racing. Congratulations to Racing. I always like them because their kit looks like the Argentina kit. So any team but Brazil. Please. Thank you for that minor moment of joy. We got to talk about the Red Bulls. Girl, listen, I've said this before. I have a love-hate relationship with my team. I was at the first Metro Stars game ever in 1996. I was a child. I loved the Metro Stars, hardcore Metro Stars fan. And then when they sold out to Red Bull, we like started boycotting because what a fucking sellout. Like, what corporation, capitalism, imperialism, all that shit, like, yuck, hated it. I never really got like that hardcore back into it, but like around the time that Red Bull Arena was built, and Red Bull Arena, I've always said it, is a great stadium. It's it's the best soccer specific stadium in the United States. Again, don't even come. I don't care about it. Like, I don't care about your opinion. But if you think that that's not true, it's a great stadium. And so we were like, okay, live football is better than nothing. And like, we kind of like went back to some games, and then, whatever, joined, like, I was in like some supporters group stuff. And then I like got the ick again. Like, I have the ick because Red Bull supporters groups are bullshit. They like sold out when the YSA chant was a thing. And then they like were offered money to like not say it anymore for TV, like, right? And they took it. That's when I was like, nah, fuck y'all. So I basically just kind of float. I've been to games here and there, but I'm not like hardcore anymore. I don't do like the supporters group thing. And I just like hate them more every time. Like, they do everything wrong. Red Bull, the corporation, does everything wrong when it comes to Red Bull New York. When it comes to the Red Bull TM. However, there is still that little bit of like, like little piece of love in my heart. And I was like, look, I have gotten my hopes up my whole life in the playoffs for the Red Bulls. No more. Absolutely no more. So truly, this playoffs for the Red Bulls has been a surprise for all of us, myself included, that they're doing so well. So first of all, okay, let's talk about the fact, okay, like Messi, like, they won the supporter shield, which is the real championship. And I've said this for years. The real championship is the championship based on points, like it is in the rest of the world. And so the real champions of MLS is Miami. Okay, is Miami. It's Messi. And then they got to the playoffs, and just like a real serious team made of real serious world-class players, they didn't give a fuck about the playoffs. And because what the fuck is that? It's so US centric. And they fizzled out. Cool. Some people had a fun hating that. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers, please, you're embarrassing yourselves. Like, you're embarrassing yourselves. Because, like, how are you so obsessed with Messi? Like, leave him alone. So, anyway, just, like, see his downfall. You think he gives a fuck about the MLS playoffs? Please. So, they fizzled out. And the Red Bulls, actually, so the new playoff system, or, like, whatever it's called, is weird. And so that round, they had to play 3 games unless they won 2 in a row. And the Red Bulls were the first to win 2 in a row. We were everyone was like, what? I was shocked, truly, because the Red Bulls did not have a good season. So they won and advanced earlier than anyone else. So they had a little bye week. They had a little like, like rest because everyone else had to play a third game. And then they were playing NYCFC. And we all know how I feel about them. Fuck those motherfuckers. And so played them at their excuse for a stadium, which is actually a baseball diamond. You guys, like, what? Let's start a collection to get NYCFC a stadium, because if there's one thing the city group needs, it's money, right? Like, y'all bitches are never gonna have a stadium. Like, that just fills me with joy. So played NYCFC at home. I did not have any sort of expectation. I didn't even honestly like watch it. First of all, I was out. Where was I? I was out. And I was like, whatever, I just kind of like was keeping an eye on the score or whatever. And they won. Not only did they win, but it wasn't even nerve-wracking. Like, it was not even nerve-wracking. Like, the whole game they were basically winning 2-0. And so we're playing Orlando next. I guess the Red Bulls will not get a real home game unless they beat Orlando, if I remember correctly, but truly I don't care about the playoffs. So cool though to see that the Red Bulls, and now there's that little chill guy meme that's going around that's like that they posted something that was like, oh, winning on your opponents at your like rivals like field, like we're just a chill guy or like something like that. And it's like, okay, they're walking through it. I don't know what's going to happen in Orlando because I truly know less than nothing about Orlando because, again, don't care. And who knows? Who knows? We'll see what happens. But for now, let's jump on the Red Bulls bandwagon. I mean, I earned it. I've been a fan since day one, and the Red Bulls have never won the MLS version of the championship, which is the playoffs, right? They've won the Supporter Shield, which is the real championship, a couple times. But never the playoffs. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. They're playing Orlando next. That's the thing about playoffs, is that it's such a crapshoot. Literally, it's a crapshoot. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Anything could happen. I don't know if y'all noticed. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm wearing a necklace. It's so cute, and it says, you probably can't see it because it's flipped, but it says, literally a communist. It's the best necklace. Shout to Topple and Burn. I also got my Free Palestine necklace from them. Obsessed. And I just go around wearing this, and I'm like, don't ask me any questions that can't be answered by my necklace. Thank you so much. So yeah. Let's talk a little bit about United. Okay, so United finally got rid of that bald ass motherfucker that I couldn't stand, Ten Hag. There's been some real funny takes on that, like some podcast from the UK, like saying some real funny shit. And they finally got rid of him. I was so excited. And they immediately got the new player bounce, like the new coach bounce, right? Like they literally were like, oh, he's gone. Fuck yes. They had Rude Van Nistelrooy, whose name can only be said that way. For like one game, he was interim head coach. They played great for him. And they were like, finally, you could tell they were all like so happy to be free of that motherfucker. And so they played for him. And then Amorim came, and everyone was really excited. And look, I'm as excited as I can be. I didn't know much about him. I think he's cool. Like, he seems cool. He's Portuguese, which is cool because I didn't want another fucking, at least he's shouts to Carlos. At least he's spicy white, right? Like he's from Portugal, so I didn't want another fucking cold ass Nordic or like Dutch or like even British. Honestly, manager. I didn't know who. I have been wanting it to be Poche for years, but that wasn't going to happen. And so I think I was as pleasantly surprised as one can be. And people are excited, and people are like, raring to go, and he's, coming with a splash. But then what happened? They fucking tied with Ipswich. Ipswich. How do you pronounce that? Look, it's not Bielsa's fault. He can't pronounce it. I can't fucking pronounce it either. They played Ipswich, and it was a disaster. They tied. So I'm like, again, Shout to Carlos of Anticonquista in Anticonquista, Colombia, who we were talking, and he was like asking me my theory on why it was that they didn't like thrash Ipswich, right? And so he was coming up with all this like rational, like well thought out theory, and I was like, my theory is that all of their talent was stolen by aliens in the middle of the night, and I quite frankly believe that this is way more believable of a theory than yours. So that's what it's like being friends with me, in case you're wondering. But no, but like, yeah, it's weird. I think obviously the problems at United are way deeper than just Ten Hag, but I'm glad to see his bald ass motherfucking head gone. Shouts to the boys on the podcast that were like, if you're bald in Manchester, stay home. Oh, that was so funny. But yeah, and so Amorim, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. City. Let's talk about City real quick. Like, fucking speaking of bald ass bitches. Y'all know I love Pep. Gen Z hearts for Pep. Y'all know I love Pep. I hate City. I hate City. I hate to see him go down like this, truly. I don't think it's him. I think there's something at play here that's sinister, and I don't know what it is. And I'm happy. I want City to be relegated. I want City to do poorly. I don't want them to win the league again. I also don't want Liverpool to win the league. So I'm still like hoping Arsenal gets it together. They did win this weekend. But yeah, I don't want Liverpool to win it, but like City's falling apart, y'all. What is it? What is it? Do we think it's that all of this shit, the drama with what's going to happen and the fines and whatever, like is really getting to Pep? And at that point, it's like, how much of it is Pep and how much of it are the players? One of my biggest things is that the Nazi robot clearly has been overrated this whole time. And this is his actual true form. Like, y'all went nuts for that fucking like, I never understood the hype. Yeah, like he scored a bunch. Like, okay, like you, and then now he's like really showing his true form. I think that they lost the Ballon d'Or winner and that really hurt them. And the thing about Rodri is that like when people, people talked a lot of shit when the whole thing happened with Vinicius not winning the fucking Ballon d'Or, which like, again, I don't remember if I talked on the podcast about or not. But I talked about it on live for sure. But people had a lot of shit to say about him not deserving it, but like, is his disappearance from the team, like, is his injury like kind of contributing to why City's not performing? Like, I don't know. I think it's a bunch of factors at once. I do think a lot of it's psychological. I think that Pep might be freaked out, but I also am like, how much can that make such a big difference? So then it really is more the coach than the players when they do well. So it's like, there's all of these like philosophical, like, questions at play, because we're like, oh, the coach doesn't really matter that much. Sometimes we're like that, right? Sometimes we're like, oh, the players don't matter. It's the coach. Sometimes we're like, whatever. And then shit like this happens. It's like, how do you go from winning every league and champions and like whatever, right? To this. I think this is the most games Pep has ever lost in a row, ever in his history of existence. So how does that happen? You know what I mean? Like, and so it's really, really interesting psychologically. Like, and then people are like, oh, they're going to get relegated. And then the memes and like all the jokes are like, they don't need to get relegated by the league. They're going to relegate themselves, which is hilarious. But, I don't know. Like, first of all, I don't think, look, I personally, and I've said this before a million times, I think it's wishful thinking to think that any consequence that comes from like all of this like court shit is going to be relegating City. I don't think it's going to happen. And I also don't know how effective a fine is when you've got billions of dollars to just throw away. So I don't know what the consequences are going to be of them breaking all those rules. But I think that people who are foaming at the mouth to see the consequences, like, y'all are going to be disappointed, because that's just how capitalism works. This modern football under capitalism. I'm sorry, like that's just how it is. I think you're going to be disappointed. But with all that being said, something's coming, because it's very weird. You go from winning every fucking league, okay? Every league, every single year, the league every single year, to this. And Pep has never in his life, he has to be, look, if he was not already bald, he'd be losing his hair over this. So I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying the downfall, but I don't want Liverpool to win it. So I don't know. I don't know if we think that it's like all set in stone. I don't know if we think there's still time to like switch things around. If like Arsenal still has time to get it together. Like, who knows? I'm excited. I'm excited. And what maybe we'll do like a whole deep dive into the whole Man City phenomenon at some point on this podcast. The wheels are turning. Barcelona's good. Nothing, like we'll see like how long that lasts. I don't know. I'm just like kind of like, internationally, um, the table for the qualifiers in South America. Listen, I know like my haters consider me insufferable all the time. And that's great. I love that. I love when people are so obsessed with me. They just like check up on me years after they are no longer in my life. Like, I just think that's hilarious. But I am Argewasha, in case you didn't know. And the qualifiers table right now for South American qualifiers. Okay, because all the shit that happened with Bielsa, with Luis Suarez, who's dead to me, and everything like that. He's still, look. There were years and years and years. Editions of the World Cup would come and go, and if Uruguay qualified, it was on repechaje, right? It was through the playoffs, and like Bielsa has them in number 2. So Argentina's number 1, and Uruguay's number 2 currently, and like I think Colombia's like 5th. Not for nothing, but that's kind of funny. Because everyone Colombians love to hype themselves up so much. They're like 5th. Shouts to all my Colombian listeners. But it's hilarious. And yeah, like we're on top. Look, South American qualifiers are not easy, but a lot of people say they are because it's such a small confederation. Sure, y'all can tell yourselves what you want, but ask Bolivia if those qualifiers are easy. You know what I mean? Like, there's always like shit that happens and people go to playoffs or whatever. So, actually, there's been some surprises so far in terms of qualifiers. So we've got no more international breaks for a while now. I think till like March, actually. So we'll be international break free for a while, but what a way to go into the new year. As numbers 1 and 2 on the table for World Cup qualifiers. I love us. I really love us. So yeah, shouts to all of the ways in which Uruguay is winning, and are not just on and off the pitch, but el Frente Amplio. Like, we did it. That is how you beat fascism. Not with liberalism, okay? Not with liberalism, but with a true left. That's a lesson for all United Stations. And also winning on the pitch as well. Like, not letting any of the fucking drama. Bielsa is cold, man. He, in a good way. Like, he said, fuck all this shit. I don't give a fuck. And he kept doing his job and doing it. And like, just like, oh my God, like, what a fucking, he is the epitome of Argewasho culture. And like, like, that's my idol, in that regard. Cause he's so truly like, such a good addition to the Uruguay, locker room. So yeah, we're going into the new year on top as Argewashos. And I think that's it for today, y'all. And we threw something together, and we should really pat ourselves on the back for showing up continuously, despite the fact that the world's ending. So maybe you got a little bit of joy out of this episode. If you did, share it. Reach out to me if you have any topic ideas that you want to see me cover. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you so much for listening to the greatest football podcast on earth, Real Francamente. My name is Franca and I'm your host. Please make sure to follow us on all socials, on the tubes, on all the podcast apps. Leave likes, comments, ratings, reviews, share, like things on Instagram, share them with your friends. Be proud to know us. And make sure to to leave comments, ratings, reviews, and remind us how much you love us so that we can continue doing this with joy for y'all. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye, it's your football content.